Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. And there is Finster. There's Finster. And there is Mildred. Yeah, we got a whole crew here. Everybody's hanging out. So it's a good way to start the day. Unfortunately, a less good way to start the day. Here, let's just do this. That's more fun, isn't it? A less good way to start the day, here we are, is with this absolute poster child for musical horridness, the latest abomination from Jordi Savall and his Les Concerts des Nations, doing, oh my God, Lina Tourbonnet, Concertino. What does the concertino have to do with any of this? Anyway, I guess that's the concert master. I don't know. Anyway, what have we got? It's got Symphonies Oubliées. Symphonie Oubliée. Schumann's Zwickauer symphony. It's two movements that he didn't complete, or the rest of the symphony he didn't complete. And Bruckner's Symphony No. 0. Which is actually called, this is unbelievable. Oh my God. This is unbelievable. I can't even, it's hard to even conceptualize what's going on here. Right, Finster? You can't even stand it, can you? No, I can't either. All right, so what do we got here? This is another one of those grotesque attempts to take, the musical stylistics of Gottlieb Muffat and apply it to romantic music. And it is beyond disastrous. I mean, we already heard or talked about Savall's absolutely atrocious Mendelssohn Midsummer Night's Dream. Well, this is at another level of repugnance and horribleness. The entire thing is gaslighting. You know, one of the saddest things about the universe today, if I may wax philosophical for a moment, is the fact that everybody seems to be living in their own reality. And it's true of politics. It's true of the arts. This is cult bubble thing stuff here. That's what this is. First of all, they're not forgotten symphonies. I mean, the Schumann, these movements have been recorded multiple times. And the Bruckner's Symphony No. 0, the annulled, whatever it's called, the Zero Symphony, it's got to have at least a dozen or more recordings now. It's a known quantity. It's now included in most Bruckner cycles as a matter of course, even though Bruckner never heard it, and even though it sucks, which it does. I mean, Bruckner had good reason to want to trash this symphony. Everything else he did was so much better. And I understand perfectly well why he was dissatisfied with it. I mean, the first movement is a thematic nullity. The finale goes nowhere. The scherzo's okay. I mean, it's 6 minutes of Bruckner scherzo-like early stuff. The Adagio has a couple lovely things in it. Bruckner's Adagios are always beautiful. But okay. So let us just assume, forget whether you should or shouldn't even play the damn thing. And the same thing with the Schumann, which of course had to be sort of, passled together. I mean, they're okay, attractive pieces if you like these composers, right? You agree with that, Finster? Yes, of course you do. So, yeah, I mean, for that, they're okay. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that really just blows my mind. The performances use a aesthetic approach to this music, which is completely, totally contrary to what they're supposed to sound like. I mean, oh my, where are you going off that way? Okay, good. I mean, look, if Bruckner had actually heard this symphony played that way, he definitely would have canceled it. He would have canceled it and torn up the manuscript. Nothing comports with his intentions here. Savall has no clue about what to do in this music. First of all, his handling of tempo is I guess he thinks it's romantic. The opening of the Bruckner, it starts out okay, it's at a reasonable tempo, and then it slackens, and then suddenly it speeds up, and then it slackens again, and then it's really, really ridiculous. I mean, he has no sense of shape of where the music's going. And Bruckner himself didn't always have a sense of where the music was going. So it doesn't help, especially in this work, which is like Bruckner's weakest symphony, aside from that early school symphony thing that's even weaker, the 00. So, but the biggest problem is the sound of this horrible ensemble that he's put together. It's absolutely impossible to describe just how bad it sounds in this music. You know, the vibratoless strings, which, as we all know, at this late date is completely wrong, totally wrong, and antithetical to the style of the music. Because, you know, I've said this a million times, but yet they keep doing it, so I have to keep saying it. The reason these people do what they do is to sound different. It has nothing to do with what's musically correct. It has nothing to do with the historical accuracy of what was going on in the day. We can demonstrate that a normal range of vibrato is a healthy thing in string sections of the 1840s and 50s. We know this. That's not even a question. And what makes it even more ridiculous is that the places where every single treatise, and remember, they're talking about sources for performance practice which are a century or more older than the actual work that Bruckner wrote. So, leaving aside the fact that they're hopelessly dated, if you look at what the music demands, you will find that every single treatise ever written, even the old ones, says when you have long notes and slow tempos, when you have cantabile passages, songful passages, you must imitate the sound of the human voice, which means you must use a sufficient vibrato to endow the tone with warmth. But there are technical issues, even beyond that, the philosophical aesthetic stuff. I mean, musical commentators from the 19th century will say, Karl Flesch, for example, said that even the most fabulous violin will sound out of tune without a leveling and corrective vibrato. Those were his words, added to the tone, because they just sound. Schoenberg, of all people, wrote a whole essay on vibrato, where he said that this is exactly what happens, that there has to be because the intonation is unconvincing when you don't use vibrato. You have to do something to make the tone more warm, to make it blend, to make it fit. And that's what happens here. You get to the second subject of the first movement, and it's unlistenable. It's absolutely unlistenable. It's completely, it's expressionless, first of all, and he's dragging it even more. And the tone is just wiry and gray and ugly. And when the woodwinds come in, I mean, the slow movement, it begins with a sort of chorale thing in the strings, followed by woodwinds, and they sort of alternate back and forth at the beginning. They all sound out of tune with each other. They just do. I mean, the intonation is wretched. The blend is horrible. The only movement that's kind of exciting and fun is the scherzo, because he lets the timpani pound the crap out of it. And as long as the violins aren't playing and the brass are just blasting everybody else away, it's kind of fun, actually, I have to say. But that's the one moment. And when the strings do come in with their screechy little tune, I mean, it's an embarrassment. It's just an embarrassment that anything should sound like that. It's disgusting. And I mean, in the Schumann, I'm not even talking about the Schumann. The Schumann is it's the same problem. It's all the same stuff. I mean, there's no difference between Schumann and Bruckner in these performances because the approaches are exactly the same. I mean, God forbid Savall should distinguish between Schumann and Bruckner. Bruckner actually was contemptuous of Schumann's symphonies. He called them sinfonietas. He didn't think that they were serious. So, it's really kind of amazing that this guy gets away with this stuff. I mean, first of all, pretending that these are unknown works or forgotten. They're not. They're well known to all collectors, very well known, and then playing them in this fashion. It's criminal. It really is. I mean, and this guy gets money and he gets support. People are paying for this. Look, it's their money. They can do whatever they want with it. More power to them. But to claim some sort of authority or legitimacy for this approach is absolutely an embarrassment. Nothing more, nothing less. And a disgrace. And a blot on the career of an otherwise fine musician who has completely drunk his own Kool-Aid and has gotten lost in his own cult of his own narcissistic, self-regarding, soi-disant fabulousness, which is utterly illusory. You can hear for yourself. So, sucks, horrible, avoid it. Avoid it like death. It's just disgusting. But keep on listening anyway. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.